Oh boy. I get it, you know. Frank Seravalli has his reputation when it comes to the Vancouver folk. He has a reputation amongst NHL folks, too. But he can't go out there and deny that once in a while Seravalli says some pretty interesting stuff that does garner the attention of fans in very polarizing ways. Like what Frank Seravalli said yesterday making an appearance on Sekeres and Price, because he had himself an entire segment on Arturs Silovs going over a very peculiar part of this conversation that I feel like we haven't talked about enough. In fact, we haven't talked about this at all. Nobody's mentioning this. This didn't become any sort of a topic until Seravalli said it on SMP, and I wanted to go out there and talk about this in this video today. So, Arturs Silovs, at the time of recording this video, is unsigned. He's an RFA, his contract expired in 2023-2024, and as a 22-year-old goaltender who had showed off extraordinarily well in the Stanley Cup Playoffs with an .898 save percentage, okay, that is actually not indicative as to the quality of play that he had provided. He had an .897 and an .815 in Game 7 and Game 6, so admittedly, this number might be a little bit skewed, but for the most part, Arturs Silovs has been fantastic, especially in the small sample size that he has had as a Vancouver Canucks playoff caliber goaltender. The shutout in game number 6 against Nashville, the 930s, the 913s against the Edmonton Oilers, he's been pretty good. And for the most part, because he's only 23 years old, he's younger than I am, for crying out loud, there is a good idea that says he is going to be the backup for next season. He's going to get re-signed. It's no biggie. Everybody expects this to happen. Right? Even though he was a starter for Vancouver in the playoffs, he was forced to be that after taking Casey DeSmith's job, he still is a young guy and he still will be the backup next year. But Seravalli had himself this segment on SNP from yesterday that goes out there and asks whether or not Arturs Silovs is actually an offer sheet candidate. The video segment will be linked in the description. Seravalli goes out there and pretty much says that one of the things the Vancouver Canucks need to figure out here is Arturs Silovs. Because the question is, as he is an RFA, is he as much of an offer sheet target as we have seen out of anybody else? The thing is, with Arturs Silovs and his crazy good playoff run, you can say that there is an opportunity for a team to go out there and swoop things up and say, hey, this is a good guy. Let's go out there and make Silovs an offer he can't refuse and put it so high up there that the Vancouver Canucks, who are already struggling with their own salary cap needs, with Zadorov, with Lindholm, with Dakota Joshua, and everybody else, they may not have the opportunity to match any sort of a big offer sheet. If a team sees Arturs Silovs and they say, hey, he's going to be a backup in Vancouver, he's going to get maybe 20 to 30 games in Vancouver, he can be a 1B with us. He can be a $4 million 1A, 1B tweener cycling around with another young team kind of guy. Now I get it. $4 million is just an arbitrary number I threw out there just to make a point. But the fact is, if a team sees Arturs Silovs as huge prime money for the future, they think he's going to be the next best thing, they think he's the bee's knees, then what's stopping a team from offering Arturs Silovs maybe twice the amount of money that the Vancouver Canucks will inevitably offer him? Vancouver is probably going to sign something, let's say, in the under $2 million range. I'd be very surprised if it went over 2. If it was like 1, I wouldn't be too shocked. If it was 1.2, okay, we're kind of getting into predictable territory. Anything under 2, I'd say, is more reasonable for Vancouver to go out there and offer this guy. But if a team goes out there and says, hey, we can give you a role, we want you to be super important on our team this upcoming year, you're 23, you're gonna get better, you already were great for Vancouver in the playoffs, you showed off well on a big stage in front of everybody, you had a series clinching shutout for crying out loud, then there could be some teams going out there and thinking about offer sheeting this guy to a contract that he may just not can't refuse. He may just not can't refuse. Huh, I really said that. He may not be able to refuse. There you go. Go all Don Corleone on your butts. But either way, Seravalli uses this idea to conclude that essentially Vancouver is going to need to make a decision here. Get in your horse, sign the guy, or if you really can't, you don't feel like you're going to be able to do it soon. I mean, the idea was brought up by the folks on S&P as to whether or not there could be a trade. But that's another story for another day. We're not going to talk about trading Arturs Silovs at this point. They would need to get themselves another goalie in return if they wanted to do that, or just re-sign Casey DeSmith, which was not really something they had on their radar heading into this offseason anyway. So, for Arturs Silovs, let's go over there and talk about compensation, because that is the big thing here. Vancouver, if they sign Silovs to a less than $2 million deal, then okay, that's expected, but if a team goes out there and offers him, let's say, something in the $2.2 million range to $4.5 million range. Let's say it's $3 million. The Canucks would get themselves a second-round pick. You know what, honestly, if it is like a $3 million offer sheet, he signs it because of course he does. He's getting $3 million at 23 years old, that's fine. The Vancouver Canucks, if they don't see an immediate $3 million caliber goaltender out of Silovs, then I could understand if they would just let him go. Now, for a second-round pick, you could say that's a lot lower than what Arturs Silovs should be evaluated at when you consider that he is 23 years old and already this good. By the way, happy birthday to Pierre-Luc Dubois. I just noticed that in my elite prospects over here. But that seems to be the realm as to where teams can bite Vancouver if they really wanted to get personal here. Anything above 4.5, okay, then that's a first and a third, and then 6.8 is the next tier here for offer sheet compensation. It's not going to get to this territory if you're talking about Arturs Silovs. More so around here, I would say, is a predictable range if you wanted to say a Silovs offer sheet could happen. The question is, though, which teams would go out there and be interested in doing this. Obviously, a team that's looking for a goaltender, a team that's looking for a young goaltender. If Arturs Silovs gets himself a big, lucrative offer, he's got no reason to go out there and deny it. But of course, you know, that's the big thing. He himself, the player, has to agree to the terms. That's always been the one Achilles heel of offer sheets. Hey, you can't just offer sheet whomever you want. The guy actually has to choose to sign it, and that is an aspect of the conversation that people always seem to miss out on. It's very strange. But either way, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If Seravalli makes a good point here, that Arturs Silovs is an RFA, and thus will be subjected to offer sheet exposure, therefore it's probably within the Canucks' best interest to go out there and get this contract done right away. Get it done now. The thing is, I'm recording this video at night, and by the time it's uploaded, maybe there is a contract signing. Who really knows? We'll make another video about it when I wake up. But for now, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about an Arturs Silovs offer sheet and whether or not you think this is actually plausible. Thoughts in the comment section as to who you think could do this if you wanted to take guesses as to which teams would be in the goaltender market. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.